Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV today. This Sunday, live on the WWE Network, they are presenting Evolution, and there's not really too much to be excited about, but we're going to talk about it because that's what we do here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Evolution Preview and Prediction Show. Let's get this one over with, shall we? Let's do this.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me once again on the channel on this very, very busy week here at Sledgehammer TV. You know, the WWE has just absolutely failed with this pay-per-view right from the beginning. From the initial announcement of Alexa Bliss versus Trish Stratus as its first match on the card, all the way up until how it has been finalized tonight, the WWE has proven to us that they really do not care about the women's revolution, the women's evolution, because if they really did, they would have put some effort into putting together a card that would be reminiscent of such a word as evolution. This is the most poorly named pay-per-view since Great Balls of Fire. There is nothing evolutionary about this. If anything, it is a huge step backwards. We are celebrating a lot of the former athletes in the WWE's history of the women's division that are exactly what we are trying to get away from by having people like Kelly Kelly come to the show, Tori Wilson. There's so many women that are divas that was supposedly made a bad word by the WWE, which is why they changed the whole thing to the get-go. But now we want to act like it's such a great thing and that these girls were so great and such a big part of something that they have absolutely nothing to do with. This card that they put together is ridiculous, and it shows every one of us that they are only doing this show to appease the women of the WWE on the current roster right now for not being allowed to take part in the greatest Royal Rumble, the first Saudi Arabian pay-per-view earlier in the year. Why they had to do it so quickly, I don't know. Why they couldn't take their time, really plan it, put it about a year out, really make it something special, because there is nothing special about this pay-per-view except the fact that it's the first ever all-women's pay-per-view. That's where the specialness lies, and that's where the specialness ends. And it still is being overshadowed by another Saudi Arabian-themed pay-per-view, which has been mired in controversy to make it even worse, as Crown Jewel is the only thing the WWE seemingly gives a shit about on their main roster programming anyway. How much hype has there really been for Evolution? Because it's always been side by side, if not overshadowed by whatever we're talking about, leading it to Crown Jewel. That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video, and I don't want to talk about that one any more than I want to talk about this one. Because both of these pay-per-views mean nothing. They're just cash grabs, in the Crown Jewel case, in the literal sense of the word. And it makes you think twice about what the true ethics in the WWE really are. Do they really not give a shit about the fans or their talent, and they really only care about the money? Because that seems to be the case. Let's talk about this ridiculous card. And we're going to start right at the bottom with the ridiculous, lazy-ass Battle Royal for a future title shot. I don't know what title. I guess it's open to whatever. But the amount of names in this Battle Royal is absolutely ridiculous. Asuka being in this Battle Royal is one of the worst things I have seen. You have Ember Moon in this Battle Royal. Naomi's in this Battle Royal. Then you want to bring back a whole lot of divas. You got Maria Kanellis in there. What is the point? What is the point of redoing what you already did at the Royal Rumble? Oh, it's not like the Royal Rumble. There's no countdown, Mr. Nightmare. Take your countdown and stick it up your ass, everybody, because it's the same exact thing. It's taken away, or just taking a page more than taking away, because how special was the Women's Royal Rumble anyway? That was shit all over by Ronda Rousey, right? None of that mattered. Asuka was overshadowed by Rousey. They didn't take that seriously either. But now here we are. We don't know what else to do. We have an abundance of female talent where we could put on mega matches. But we're going to just take everybody and throw you in a battle royal because we don't give a shit about this pay-per-view. That's what this battle royal is all about. You saw just before it in the graphic, all of the faces and the names that are in this battle royal, half of them don't deserve to be there. And the other half of them aren't even booked in. The people that deserve to be in this battle royal, I don't think are even booked to be in there. Did you see Bianca Belair, or did you see any of the NXT talent, or anybody that could truly benefit from having a championship opportunity handed to them? The worst thing that could happen in the world is that Brie Bella wins this thing, but I fully expect this to be the relaunching of Asuka. If Asuka, anybody other than Asuka comes out with the win in this battle royal, then it's a failure. Because nobody else in this match deserves a push or needs to be reset or needs to have that momentum to build them back to the top after what the WWE has done to Asuka. She needs it more than anybody, and that's where I expect it to go. But that's probably going to also be the first 30 minutes. I'm expecting this to be the first match because now the first 30 minutes are going to be broadcast live on Twitter. Like, that's a big deal. Who cares? Who cares? If you're watching this thing on Twitter, you're pathetic. Because you should just have the network fired up if you're a fan and you watch it on the network for $9.99. You want to watch it for free 30 minutes on a streaming Twitter feed? How good do you think that's really going to be? Come on. The next matchup I want to talk about is the NXT Women's Championship. One of the two matchups you will absolutely need to see on this night, and noticeably neither one of them have anything to do with the main roster, as Shayna Baszler is going to take on Kairi Sane in her bid to get back her NXT Women's Championship title. I don't expect that to be the case. I think Kairi Sane has had enough experience in there with Shayna Baszler that she's kind of got her number and that she's kind of going to be able to defend that championship. And I think there are bigger things in the future for Shayna Baszler. And if I were the WWE, I would have Shayna Baszler lose this match, let Kairi Sane continue as the NXT Women's Champion, and then you have, by the end of this night, Shayna Baszler make an impact at the end of this thing in that Nikki Bella Ronda Rousey nonsense that we're going to talk about in a minute. We'll talk a little bit more about that as we get to that matchup, which will probably be main eventing this ridiculous show. Another matchup to be looking forward to is a matchup we've only been made knowledge of. That's not the way you say that. It's only been made known to us recently after this Wednesday's episode of the Mae Young Classic aired, and we are going to have Toni Storm taking on Io Shirai in the finals of the 2018 Mae Young Classic. Why it was pigeonholed into taking part in this pay-per-view, I don't understand. It still should have been made its own special like it was last year. I don't know why they had to take Evolution and stain the Mae Young Classic with the scent of this ridiculous pay-per-view throughout. But we are going to have the finals. This is probably going to be the match of the night. Unless Vince McMahon has his hands in the cookie jar and he knows that these two girls are going to blow away everything on the main roster and ends up giving them only about 5 or 6 minutes. To which case they won't be able to tell the epic confrontation that they should be able to tell on a match card that only features 6 friggin' matches. That's my fear here. Other than that, if we get a Mae Young Classic worthy contest between these two females, this is going to be the match to not miss. The next match that we're going to talk about, you can definitely miss because there was never a more meaningless tag team matchup ever booked anywhere for any 4 women at any time. And I'm including all of the ones we've had to see on Monday Night Raw all year long. As Lita returns to team up with a lady that looks somewhat similar to Trish Stratus, but I truly do not believe is actually Trish Stratus, to take on the formidable, I guess, team of Mickie James and Alexa Bliss. This match was only made because Alexa Bliss can't wrestle and probably would embarrass herself in the ring one-on-one with Trish Stratus, so they're putting her side by side with another seasoned veteran, Mickie James, who actually should be on the team with Trish Stratus, because Lita is not, you know, their team bestie now, but their history was as adversaries. They weren't teammates that often until they became these one-note legends that have been popping up to do what exactly? Do you think Trish and Lita are going to come back to lose to Alexa Bliss and Mickie James? And who do you think is going to get the pinfall? Most likely Mickie James. Because God forbid we stain Alexa Bliss, right? That's my call on what's going to happen there. Nothing special at all. They dropped the ball on this 100 times over. There are a million much better things you could have done with Lita or Trish Stratus, and we will talk about that after we conclude this card as well. The next matchup, the SmackDown Live Women's Championship, last woman standing, Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Not the first ever last woman standing match in the WWE. That honor has already been taken by the women in NXT. We've talked about it on this channel ad nauseum. I'm tired of even saying it, and the fact that they continue to push it that way just makes you know that they do not care about anything that's going on in NXT at all, because it didn't happen according to Raw or SmackDown. We didn't see Asuka versus Nikki Cross. That didn't happen. It's imaginary. But here we're going to have this match. I'm so over it. You know, the whole argument, is Becky a heel? Is she not? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore. The one thing ruining this match is where Charlotte lies. Charlotte is not being true to the Charlotte Flair character. She is not a good babyface. She's Bobby Roode level terrible as a babyface female. Almost reaching that Bobby Lashley trashly territory at times. She's much more natural as a heel, and I think that if you had these two girls just going at it and bringing reality into the situation, letting them skirt the lines of both things. They don't have to be definitively one thing or the other. This could have worked, but the way they're trying to tell the story just makes me uninterested. Bully Ray actually had a fantastic way to finish this matchup. He said on his Busted Open Radio podcast that it would be interesting if they had Charlotte go down towards the end of this last woman standing match and find herself hurt, or something happens where maybe she gets busted open and bleeding, and then you have Ric Flair come out to the ring to check on his daughter. He has nothing to do with the match. He's just coming to check on his daughter, and then maybe Becky Lynch attacks him and then threatens Charlotte Flair to stay down till the count of 10, or she's going to assault Ric Flair even further and hurt the Nature Boy Ric Flair. I think that's a fantastic idea. I think that would be a great way to end this matchup, and that would definitely probably be the one and only thing you could do to get the fans to actually give you the reaction you want and stop being so behind Becky Lynch. If she did that to Ric Flair, I think it would be huge. I think it would be a great twist. And Bully Ray is got a fantastic mind for the wrestling business, much like my own, and I think that is money idea. But I doubt at all that's where we're going to go. I'm pretty sure Charlotte Flair is going to win her title back, and then back on this road of nauseousness we go. The Queen of Robots! I don't care. I really don't care. Just as much as I don't care about what's supposedly going to be the main event to end the show, which is Nikki Bella versus Ronda Rousey. And never in my life has a women's championship match been so lackluster, so unimportant, that I have nobody to really pull for here. Ronda Rousey is not in over her head. Ronda Rousey should walk into this matchup, wipe the floor with Nikki Bella, take a dump on her, and then send her back to the E! Network. Within 2.5 minutes, tops. Anything short of that, this match is complete bullshit. You're going to have Nikki Bella aggressively taking advantage of a UFC Hall of Famer. You're going to have Ronda Rousey selling to Nikki Bella to make her look like she's something that a UFC fighter couldn't handle? I don't believe a minute of it. I haven't believed a minute of it since it was announced. Neither have any of you. I know that for a fact. All of my sledgeheads, we are all in full agreement that this match should not be happening. But it is happening. And if it's not booked correctly, it's going to just be terrible. You have to have Ronda Rousey eviscerate Nikki Bella. And if at any point Brie Bella gets involved, she should do the same to her as well. Just take Brie mode and break it in half. And leave her in a pile of garbage outside the ring while she takes care of Nikki Bella. 1, 2, 3. No problems here. Right over. Look what they did for Alexa Bliss. Look how they made Alexa Bliss look like she could fucking wrestle against Ronda Rousey, trying to make us believe that Alexa Bliss could get the best of a Ronda Rousey. And we're in the same scenario here. There is a list of competitors that they have in the women's division that are at least viable contenders. But we're not going that way. You know that. Ronda Rousey has got to win this match. If Nikki Bella wins this match, I don't care. My interesting twist on this thing is one of the things they could do to make this interesting, as we were talking about before, is if Shayna Baszler loses in her attempt at regaining the NXT Women's Championship, she ends this night attacking a victorious Ronda Rousey. You could also throw in, Brie Bella gets involved. Out of nowhere, Shayna Baszler comes out. She has Ronda Rousey's back. That's one of her 4 horsewomen. It would be great. Everybody would get all hype about it. You have Shayna Baszler choke out Brie Bella. And then at the end, Ronda Rousey wins. And you have Baszler go into the ring and just take her out. Boom. Now you have a feud that means something. Shayna Baszler moves up to the main roster on Monday Night Raw. And before you have this whole giddy 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen thing, have these girls go at it. Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke are not near ready to be brought up to the main roster, so this would be a great way to do that. And allow them to bring real life into it. Have Baszler be like, who the hell are you to walk in here and just get the WWE Women's Championship on Monday Night Raw? I've been over here for the last year killing it, breaking my ass, having great matches with top-tier talent like Kairi Sane. You're coming in here wrestling the Bellas. I'm here to knock you out. You're not the Ronda Rousey I know. And then they could always make up later, and you could have the 4 horsewomen of the UFC versus the 4 horsemen. Charlotte and Becky are fighting right now. They'd have to reunite to have the 4 horsemen of the WWE, so you could do that, and it would be great. And that's how I want to see this match end. Anything less would be uncivilized and stupid. But that's what the WWE is good at, being stupid. There is no NXT UK Women's title being defended on this night, or being debuted, or being announced, or being talked about for the women's division over there. There's no mention of the women's tag team division being created. The belts were created, but they're not being given to anybody because we don't even have a match for that announced. And if they're going to use the Evolution pay-per-view as a reason to announce such a thing, that's an absolute disservice to what they're trying to do. I can't even believe that didn't happen. I thought that was one of the main reasons for having this pay-per-view, is to introduce the new belts. We would have had almost every match on the card be a title match, 2 new titles debuting. But they didn't want to do anything epic or anything truly historic. They want to be lazy as shit and book a stupid battle royal with everybody. And a bunch of mismatched singles matches that nobody really fits their opponent. With the exception of the NXT and the Mae Young Classic finals. What I would have done before we wrap this thing up, my dream card for this thing would have gone a little bit something as follows. We would have definitely had the NXT UK Women's Championship matchup. Have it crowned for the first time ever at this show. Whoever the two could have been. It could have been Ginny versus Rhea Ripley, or whoever. Dakota Kai, Rhea Ripley. Any combination would do. You would have got a great match, and you would have made history, and you would have crowned the UK Women's Championship, but that's not happened. The NXT Women's title, we could have left the same. You could have had Shayna Baszler versus Kairi Sane. I'm fine with that. You could have had the tag team titles debut in a fatal 4-way matchup with the likes of the Iconics, the Bella Twins. You could have had Lay Cool reunite, throw them in there since you want to have them come in. They were a actual team of women, just like the Bellas are and the Iconics are. And that's where you could have put Alexa and Mickie James, and nobody would have gave 2 shits. You could have gave the championships to the Iconics, because that's who probably it should be on as its inaugural title reign, and on we would have went. The Battle Royal, you could have still done that. You could have had the winner go on to face the winner of the NXT Championship matchup, like it was originally speculated they were going to do when that leaked card hit the social media wires. I was definitely into some of those things that they had going on, And one of those things was that particular thing. The winner of the Battle Royal faces the winner of the NXT Women's Championship match on the same night at Evolution. It would have been great. You could have had somebody like Bianca Belair win the thing and challenge Kairi Sane that night. Maybe even win. And really shock the wrestling world. Do some interesting things. Have fun. Make history. Show an evolution. But that's not what we're doing. You could have had the rematch that everybody's waiting for between Asuka and Ember Moon. That would have definitely took the whole entire pay-per-view up a whole nother notch. You could have had a triple threat match. Lita versus Ruby Riott versus Nikki Cross. Let's go interpromotional. Let's not care who's on what brand. This is the one time only women's evolution. Let's showcase it correctly. You have a Hall of Famer. You have the next coming incarnation of Lita in Ruby Riott, and then you have the psychotic Nikki Cross, who kind of fits the same kind of a mold of that grungy, gritty, I don't give a shit kind of female, and then you have a cool triple threat match. There's epicness. There's better. Then you could have had somebody like Beth Phoenix versus Nia Jax. There's an interesting way to use Nia Jax. Then you do Becky versus Charlotte for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and the Raw Women's Title Match. You know what I would have done? I would have had Ronda Rousey throw out an open challenge. Open challenge, and that just leaves it out for anybody. Anybody you could have won, you could throw them out there, answer the challenge, and have a main event. Ronda Rousey is the main event. You didn't need to announce her opponent, right? She's the Women's Champion on Monday Night Raw. Having Nikki Bella as her opponent is effectively the same as having nobody. Nobody's tuning in to see Nikki Bella. We're all tuning in to see what Ronda Rousey's going to do to Nikki Bella. If you have any interest in that match, that's the only thing you want. So why not have her do that? Or have her run the gauntlet. Have like a 30-minute time limit. However many women she could beat in 30 minutes. Whoever wants to come out, come on out there. Have Alicia Fox come out there and get thrown around for 3.5 seconds before she gets beat. Then you have Alexa come out. You have everybody come out. Lose to Ronda Rousey. Build her up. Make her look like the threat that she is. And then right before the time buzzer goes down, you have somebody, maybe Beth Phoenix comes out, or you have Nia Jax come out, but then the buzzer sounds and the match is over and they never got to get in the ring. Something interesting. Different. If they really wanted to have fun with this thing, they could have done matches like Asuka versus Kairi Sane, Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. You could have had Trish Stratus versus Alundra Blaze, two women that were the figureheads of their respective generations, clashing at the Evolution. That is what's missing. That's what they could have done. You want to really go out on a limb? You could have went out and brought in Awesome Kong. You got this working relationship with the Glow Ladies of Wrestling show, right? You've been talking about it. Obviously, you can get in touch with Awesome Kong, have her come in, and have her go in the ring with somebody like an Ember Moon. Or maybe even Nia Jax. A battle of the two biggest women in wrestling history. Whatever. Evolutionary. Different. Special. I wasn't even trying when I wrote these things down. It was just things just firing off the top of my head. I can scratch my pencils in and change this thing to be really, really big. But the fact that I could scribble out a card and shit it out better than the WWE can do in however long they tried to plan this thing is an absolute travesty. Evolution is anything but. And the WWE is to blame. It's very important that you understand none of my criticisms are with the women. It's just like the whole situation we were facing with Roman Reigns. It's the same thing. It's not the women. It's not who's doing anything. It's how the WWE is presenting everything that just makes you not give a shit. Because I certainly don't. I'm going to struggle through the end of this pay-per-view. I know I'm going to enjoy at least the first half. Or the couple of matches I highlighted to you. And Charlotte versus Becky might even end up being a good match as well. But outside of the Mae Young Classic and the NXT Championship match, there's nothing else to watch at WWE Evolution. But you can bet your ass that I will be here Sunday night to take this hammer and bring you guys the truth. Because that's what we do, man. We bring you the truth, whether you like it or not. You could take with it and do with it what you will. But the best thing you could do is hit that subscribe button right now. Because if you're still here with me, you enjoyed everything that I had to say. You agreed with most of it. Maybe you enjoyed my fantasy card that I put together. Obviously, I have a decent wrestling brain. Obviously, better than everything going on in the WWE creative room. I'll tell you that. They're all asleep at the wheel. They had something special they could have done. And instead, they just went, and that's pretty much the definition of evolution. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you smash that like button if you enjoyed today's show, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they're not really anticipating the Evolution pay-per-view just as much as we are. We're just kind of like, I'm sure you guys are like that as well, and we're all going to sit through it because we like to torture ourselves as wrestling fans. That's what we do. And I have some of the best wrestling fans in the world in my fan base, and I can't wait to hear your comments. What are you guys looking forward to seeing out of this piece of shit pay-per-view? Are you even going to watch this pay-per-view? Let me know. And if you don't, I will be here to bring you guys everything you need to know. We will also be here Saturday afternoon at 12 p.m. for the world premiere of October's edition of the Subscription Box Showdown, which I will be watching with you guys live. At the premiere, I will be there. The chat room will be live. Make sure you come out. Place your votes for this month's champion and see who you guys picked as last month's winner in the closest race we have ever had since we started this thing. The Subscription Box Showdown going up live tomorrow morning. That's Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Be there, because I'm going to be there, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you guys there. And as always, make sure you check out the Raw and SmackDown reviews. This week was on fire. We got our little hammer shot highlight shows that have been going up on Twitter and on the Instagram accounts and everything. So make sure you just check out everything that I got coming your way, because if you're not, you are missing out. That, my friends, is all I got for you. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is my team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the Wrestling God of Thunder, and the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. And his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of Microphones, Mr. Blue the Snowball. We are so pleased to be with you each and every time we fire up this camera and hit that YouTube to be here with you guys each and every time. Thank you once again so much. Let's let the momentum continue and get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. We just eclipsed 900. 900 sledgeheads sitting in a row. I love each and every single one of you. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you all weekend long for the best WWE Evolution coverage and the most honest hammering in the world right here on the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV. See you next time.